Okay, so now we're going to learn how to narrow your niche. So we just learned about market segmentation, but now we're going to talk about narrowing your niche. And this is where we can get rich going big by focusing small. So when we're talking about targeting a niche, ironically, the more narrow your niche, the more money you can make off of that niche. So let me give you an example here. When we were filling a Costa Rica yoga retreat, many people, when they would start out marketing to fill a Costa Rica yoga retreat, they might think, well, let's just market to anybody who wants to travel. That's like, that's like 1 billion people, or, well, it's probably more like 3 billion people in the world who want to travel. Half the world would like to travel, maybe more. But that is such a broad niche that if you're trying to just market to everybody, those people aren't necessarily actively looking for a Costa Rica yoga retreat. So it ends up by trying to market to the largest market, you end up selling no one. So let's narrow that niche a little bit more. Let's narrow it to people who want to travel to Costa Rica. Well, we just went from maybe 3 billion people down to maybe a few 100,000, which is great. And that helps tremendously. So when we're going to this few 100,000, or excuse me, probably more like 500,000 people who want to travel to Costa Rica, that helps. But again, a lot of people who want to travel to Costa Rica might be going there to go surfing or go on an adventure travel or go on a honeymoon or vacation, and they're not interested in yoga. So then let's go down to the next section of people who are already actively looking for a Costa Rica yoga retreat. Well, now we're probably down to maybe 5,000 people in a 12-month period. Now, if you have a Costa Rica yoga retreat, these people are looking for a Costa Rica yoga retreat. Now you got a chance of selling a $2,500 Costa Rica yoga retreat to these people. However, if we can go even a little bit deeper, there's lots of people who are looking for yoga retreats who are broke, who have barely any money to pay for a yoga retreat, and they will try to get the price down as low as possible. They're highly price sensitive, and they will always go with the lowest price retreat, at the and try and stay at the local hostel, or try and stay at a place for free, and try and get the lowest price possible. So if you want to go even more narrow, you can focus on the people who are just looking for the high-end Costa Rica yoga retreat. That narrows the niche even much farther, and that allows us to now earn significantly more money. Well, let's go down even farther. How can we niche even farther? What about single women who are actively looking for high-end Costa Rica yoga retreat? Now we can narrow this niche down, and now we can focus on targeting these people. And in fact, this is precisely what we did for one of our clients who she was going to put on a Costa Rica yoga retreat. And we interviewed her customers. We defined her market as single women looking for a high-end Costa Rica yoga retreat. They all had very similar problems that they wanted to solve. For one, some of these single women were somewhat fearful of traveling to another country alone. And how are they going to get themselves from the airport to the beach, 4 or 5 hours away? And then also, who would they room with, or would they even share a room? And they might have been uncomfortable with other men being on the retreat. So we specifically figured out that those were their problems, and we designed the program just for them. And because of that, she was able to make $45,000 on her Costa Rica yoga retreat. So it's much easier to add value to a narrow niche. On that same Costa Rica yoga retreat, if we were trying to appeal to all people looking for yoga, some people are pure beginners, some people are very advanced, some people are of all different stripes, it would be very hard to try and be all things to all people. In fact, it's impossible. It's so much easier to add value to people with the same problem. So again, to go through another example here for my business, when I teach all sorts of ways to get customers on Facebook, but a lot of people out there do social media training. And so if I just simply tried to market our services as we teach people social media, that is marketing trying to be all things to all people, and we end up making zero. We end up pleasing no one, and we get no customers. Then if I niche it down a little bit further, and I say, okay, we're going to do Facebook marketing training. That's a little better. It's a smaller market, but still, a lot of other people do Facebook marketing training. Let's go even more niche. Just Facebook marketing for coaches and small business owners. Well, now we're getting somewhere. Now we have the opportunity to charge, have a program that people would pay $3,500 for. Then let's go and niche even further. So we cut out the small businesses and we just talk to conscious coaches. Now we can fairly easily create solutions just for conscious coaches, charge $5,500, and sell out a program. Let's go even further. Conscious coaches who want to market a book on Facebook. Well, now we're a much, much, much smaller niche. I had a client approach me who is a conscious coach, and they have a very large business, and just one client signed up for a $40,000 package, and then we got two of those. So it's so much easier to get rich by targeting a narrow niche. And when you do your customer avatar interviews, what you're looking for is you're looking for the clients, you're looking for the patterns, you're looking for the high paying clients who keep saying, you keep hearing the same problem over and over and over again. So one of our niches is we have a lot of people who are in the health and wellness and nutrition space who are coaches, and in many cases they become very successful coaches. And so it's because we had the same type of coaches over and over and over again that became one of our customer avatars. So we didn't pick our avatars. What we did is we found the problem and then created the solution. And it was within the problem, that's where the avatar lies. So you want to narrow your niche. And remember, the way to go big is by focusing small. The biggest entrepreneurial trap is to try to be all things to all people. Big companies get big by being a few things to a large number of people. And the commercial fisherman example I like to use, because imagine if you were at a party and you met somebody and you asked them, what do they do? And they said, I'm a commercial fisherman. He said, oh, what kind of fish do you catch? And they said, all animals that swim in the ocean. All fish, all crustaceans. It doesn't matter if they live in the ocean, river, streams, lakes, we catch them. That would be really weird, because and nobody answers that question, because commercial fishermen tend to really specialize. Maybe they specialize in crabs or tuna or something like that. They have a completely different ship and equipment for that very specialized type of catch. And so similarly, when we want to narrow our niche, we want to stop trying to be all things to all people and start being something to a group of people. And you get big by being really good at solving a few problems to a group of people. So do not fear pigeonholing yourself. Instead, I would tell you to switch your mindset, because most entrepreneurs think if they create marketing to too narrow a niche, they'll lose out on business. But the truth is, if you try to serve everybody, you lose out on the most lucrative customers in your niche. So instead of fearing pigeonholing yourself, you should fear trying to be too broad and trying to be all things to all people. When you can go narrow, you can create unique solutions for the unique problems. And because you're doing that, you will get those customers much more easily. To properly segment, you need to understand why customers ask for a particular feature. And the answer is because they have a particular problem they want to pay you to solve. Different customers will have different answers to this problem. and it is your most lucrative customers who answer the questions the same way, that becomes your customer avatar. So when I was asking my customers, I found one type of customer who had one business problem, turned out to be a holistic business type coach. Another type of customer that had another type of problem was a yoga entrepreneur, and another type of customer that had another type of problem was a nutrition coach. For those people, we were able to create products, unique products and unique coaching programs specifically for those customers. And because of that, we've gone on to sell over $1.5 million of our online coaching programs and information products. It's because we ask the customers what their problems are, they tell us, and we create unique solutions to match those problems. So right now, take out a pen and paper, and you're going to create your customer's problem statement. Question number one, what is your most lucrative customer's number one problem? Okay, so for example, one of my most lucrative customers' number one problem is I'm on an income roller coaster. I've made a lot of money last year, but it's feast or famine, and I'm not having enough consistent leads and income. My number one frustration is that I don't have a business that creates that consistent income and allows me to make my own hours. My number one fear is that during the famine, I wake up at 3 a.m. with no idea how I'm going to make the mortgage, and I don't know where my next customers will come from. So with this, create your customer's problem statement. Here's that customer's problem statement. I'm sick and tired of being on this feast or famine income roller coaster. I just wish I had consistent customers who I was truly meant to serve on demand. That's the customer I can make a solution for. So do this, and we will see you in the next section.